am Nicola Gross, and it is hotter than a witch's titty out here in Budapest, Hungary. So I wanted to make some dark academia all year round decor pieces for my home, and I am currently working on 2 projects. Well, actually no, I take that back. I'm working on one of the projects now. The first one I have done, and that's the video that you are watching here now. Hello, thank you for being here. Why am I so awkward? What was I gonna talk about? My DIY is what I was gonna talk about. This is what you are here for. If you're watching this video, then thank you for watching. I would really, really like it if you subscribed or liked or commented. Any one of those 3 things would make my day, so consider it. So enough babbling aside, which I make no promises because I am a babble queen. This is my DIY. It is a book cover, and it's a real book. It is Lovecraft Country by Matt Ruff. So I've never made a book cover quite like this before. The only type of book covers I've ever made in the past were for elementary school. This was just a whole new ball game for me because I was really just learning as I went along, and I tried a little bit of this and a little bit of that. The rest of this video is going to be essentially voiceover and some bits of tutorial. I tried to make this as best of a tutorial as I could, so I hope you learned something from it. For this project, you're going to need a variety of paper bags. I used an Aldi bag and an H&M bag, as you can see, because they had 2 very distinct different handles, and that will come in a bit later. So if you've ever made a paper bag cover for your book in elementary school or in school in general, my husband says that here in Budapest it was more common to just use plastic to cover your books. I always grew up doing the paper bag method, and I was very particular as a child. I wanted like brand new bags. I didn't want the crinkly ones. I went with used crinkly ones for this project because it's more eco-friendly and it has more character to the antique look that you are going for in this project. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with the 2 different handles, but I knew that it would be something that I would probably end up using, and it ended up working out really well. That little bookmark that I just flashed up onto the screen was me remembering that in my last video that I uploaded, I said that I would show these scrapbook bookmarks that I made, and I ended up not doing it, so that little flash was me actually showing the bookmark. So yeah, now I'm just, getting the cover on there. That's the first layer. Now I'm making the second layer. If you have like very thick paper, then maybe you'll be satisfied with that. Looking back, I probably would have put on a 3rd layer just because I'm not a big paperback book fan. If I can have the option to have a hardback, then I will. I didn't have any glue in the house, so I just used acrylic. I've noticed throughout time that, dry acrylic really sticks things together, and it worked like a charm, so highly recommend if you don't have any glue in the house. That took most of the day to dry up, so now it is the evening, hence the darkness. And right now I am watercoloring the front and the back. I went for more grays and blacks. I thought originally maybe I would go for a brown palette, but the gray was just really speaking to me, so that's what I went with. I chose a small brush to watercolor with because I wanted it to look really patchy to give more of that aged effect. So here I am trying to figure out what to do with the handles, and I know I wanted it to accent something on the book. So here I'm really just experimenting because I've never done a project like this before, so it was a lot of fun to just finagle it as I went along. So this is the Aldi handle, and it made the perfect spine. So second day, I finally went out and got some glue. And on the H&M bag, there was these little hard, thicker squares that were attached to the handle. And so I just cut that out, and it ended up making the perfect title card for the book. And I decided to outline that with the H&M handles, and I really like how it ended up looking. I had a vision of making this look more Victorian, but it ended up way more, I guess, like brutalistic looking. Not brutalistic, that's not the right word, but it just like more heavy-handed than I had intended. Victorian is much more flowery. This looked more like a medieval blacksmith's notebook than it did a Victorian leather-bound book. So certain accents lended to it not looking Victorian at all, but it still definitely looks old, which was the overall goal here. Just making sure to get every detail of the book. I, of course, didn't, bother with all of the inside because I was going to be gluing it onto my book anyway. I decided to only super glue the spine to the inner spine of the book cover because I realized that as you open the book, the little tiny sleeves that I made, or just any sleeves in general, you need to have that be loose so then that way it can be mobile, and if it were to be glued there, it would be really, really tough to open the book and to have it be flexible. So now I'm dry brushing on gold paint, and this is my favorite part of the whole look, is the gold details. There's something about the black paint on the Aldi handles that really kind of dupe you into thinking that it's leather bits. I was really surprised by that, and I'm very happy with how that turned out. And then I printed out the title of the book, but we were running low on black ink in our printer, so I had to go over that by hand. No big deal, just something I had to do. And now, of course, it looks a lot like printed out paper. So I'm just trying my best to age that up with some watercolor. And of course, I'm using even more gray. And I added a bit more detail. I used some more bits of the H&M handle to give more detail. And I added this little, I guess, vignette type thing into the corner pieces of the book. And this is like the most satisfying part. There's like a little torn hole right there in the middle, and the way that the gold like just caught that and outlined that, oh, it makes me so happy. And of course you can't go wrong with too much gold, so more gold it is. Danny is being the lovely hubby that he is, and he is going to varnish it for me. I decided to use a gloss varnish because the parts that look leathery on the book, I wanted that to be even more enhanced, and it really did such a good job at enhancing. Thank you for watching so much. It's a really small channel and I don't get that many views, but every single time I see more than just like 3 views, I get really happy because I know that there's more people like me out there. I mean, I watch YouTubers who are interested in the same stuff that I am all the time, so I know that there are kindred spirits out there, and when I see your comments or your likes or your views, it really does make me so happy. And if you're watching, I would really appreciate if you reached out or commented so that we could start a little chat about things that we like and have in common. So once again, here is the book. I can't stop showing it off. I love it so much. I am going to make a tea and curl up and start reading this book again because it is so scary and so fantastic, and I really, really love this show. And I don't really want to talk about Jonathan Majors. Maybe that will be for another video. I do want to make a video about H.P. Lovecraft and how controversial he is. Maybe not. But yeah, this has brought me so much joy, and I would really love to see you replicate this or make your own version. inspired by this, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't even have to be Lovecraft Country. It can be whatever book that you just aren't really jiving with the original cover, and just make your own. I have a question. So, would you call this dark academia? Because I want to call it dark academia, but it looks more like a medieval blacksmith's notebook. Yeah, I don't know if I want to call this dark academia. That is what I was going for, but in my opinion, dark academia leans more toward the Victorian, and this is just much more medieval, in my opinion. I have another question, and this is the one that I'll leave you guys off with. Do you think that I should gild the edging? Because I have seen people do that DIY very successfully. I was just a little bit too scared to do it myself. But yeah, let me know in the comments if it's to gild or not to gild. I cracked myself up. Anywho, I'm very happy. I feel like I've said that a million times in this video, but it's just because it's true. So I really hope that you're happy. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!